this point, it's just detail, back and forth, extracting stuff. So that's why please watch this in HD. Otherwise, I think if you're watching low res, you're gonna be like, what? Nothing's changing on the screen. You know what I'm saying? So if you're watching HD, you'll see the brush move around, adding tiny details everywhere. I'm trying to add some reflections here and there. This place is probably quite wet. Environments like this probably rains quite a bit. So I'm putting some water reflections and these type of elements throughout the painting. All this stuff to trick the brain. Yeah. Let's see, technical wise. Yeah, so we talked about the laptop already, so just continue painting. Nothing too special. I think next week we'll actually stick to this as well. Something, a similar theme. I'm liking this kind of painting thing, so you guys could get used to looking at some stuff that's kind of familiar, right? You guys seen last week was kind of like the Lord of the Rings type of thing. This week we're doing a Tomb Raider in the Jones thing. I'm not sure what the next one will be yet, but maybe something similar. So here I'm drawing or painting the fallen debris. These guys are coming to life as statues. So all the stuff that's built around them are falling apart. So a lot of dust, broken statues, broken rocks everywhere, right? So there's massive explosion. Give it a lot of energy, a lot of movement here. So you're painting these things, try to have fun with them and think how useful they are in terms of production. Yeah, when I'm doing this, I'm always trying to put myself in the world, trying to imagine myself as the player, and what do I see? You know, what if I took a picture at this exact moment? What is happening? And you want to capture those things down. Continue to paint the face of these dog, cat-ish looking creatures, kind of almost reptilian in a way. So, and they're actually done from reference. I changed the design a little bit, but the reference have these, you know, the Aztecs, I think, actually in this case, has these really mean-looking, weird wolf-looking creatures. I have no idea what the original thing is supposed to be. So I kind of got some elements from those original designs and mixed it with my own. Added some hyena type of mane onto his back. Right. So this guy, he's got a lighter face, so I put the lighter face against a darker wall. Same with this one. So that way all the elements are important, which are the three faces here. The cat face and the two dogs, they're always against, either if they're light, they're against dark. If they're dark, they're against light. So constantly play with the contrast. This painting is done at about 5,000, I think almost 6,000 pixels wide. In my home studio, again, most paintings are about 10,000 pixels wide. This one's about half the size, because any higher, this laptop will probably crash. I did try to increase it to about 10,000. It'll take literally forever to save, so it's not worth the time. So I pretty much kept it around 6,000, which is actually quite okay for production paintings. I think that's the average for most production paintings done in the industry. If you want to go to 10K, you're talking about approaching matte painting quality things that could take possibly 2 to 3 days to paint, right? Because the bigger the file, the higher the resolution, the slower your file is going to get when it comes to saving. And also has potential for crashing your computer because it's a ton of RAM. So in Photoshop, there's an option on the setting or the display on the very bottom, the status. You can actually switch that around by clicking on it. It'll tell you how much RAM your painting is eating up. I think by default, it's not set on that. All you gotta do is click it. It's on the bottom lower left corner of your image. Whatever your image you're working on, you'll see these little numbers. One of them actually displays the RAM intake. So when the left side is higher than the right, then most likely your image is eating more RAM than your system have. In that case, it's going to start relying on a hard drive, and you probably don't want that to happen. So you probably want to get more RAM or upgrade to an operating system that could use more than 2.5 gigs, which XP is not capable of unless you use the X64 version. So in general, if you do a lot of Photoshop, definitely get a lot of RAM. Yeah. So here's the roots, little tiny details. This stuff is really fun to paint. The kind of, I guess, random chaos type of stuff, like plants, roots, debris, broken buildings. Those things don't take too much concentration to paint at all. So I go back and forth, taking a mental break, then go back and concentrate. Take a mental break, go back and concentrate. So the painting is almost, at this stage, is almost done. We're about, in real time, probably only 45 minutes away from finishing. Probably less than that, maybe half an hour. The thing we're missing right now is the subject matter, which is our lead hero character. I put that guy in last because he doesn't really serve too much of a purpose in this painting. The main selling point here is the main creature, not our lead character. So I leave them in for last, and also that way I can paint the backgrounds and all the smoke and the fire, the rocks, without having to keep the other guy on a layer. There's not too many layers on this at all, so sometimes if you see the layer window show up, you could probably pause it and see that there's probably only 2-3 layers on this thing, very little. Whenever I paint, I always try to collapse the layers as soon as I like the painting. And therefore it keeps the, see right there, you can see the layers, there's only one actually. So now I'm painting the hero on his own layer. The entire painting actually took place on one layer only, or no layer, just a background. I'm painting this guy in the air, not because I want this guy to fly around in the air. It's because I'm trying to paint a silhouette. So if I paint it down below, it will be hard to see the silhouette. So now I move it over. That quick red thing is to see if the 3 characters are actually looking at my lead character. The 3 creatures, that is. So again, I painted him in the air so I could see it, not for floating in the air. So now I'm going to borrow the same red, and I'm going to bring that red over. This is a very classical painting type of thing. So if you go to the Louvre and look at those classical paintings, you'll notice the use of red in a lot of those paintings. And they use the red to also do what I'm doing right now, which is to move the eyeball around the canvas. Red is a very powerful color, so the human eye tends to levitate towards it. So I'm using the headdress of the main panther versus this main character here who also has a red head thing. So I'm detailing him out. He needs to be quite detailed to a certain degree, so he needs to hold up because he's very close to camera and he's a selling point. So I'm just adding enough detail refinement to make sure he reads. So this is kind of a of a God of War or maybe Assassin's Creed type of scenario here, where this guy is very agile, very fast. He's got this huge sword, and you're about to see a battle take place. So he's running at full speed now towards the fight. Some splashes of mud to give it energy, to give it speed. And that's done with some Photoshop brush. Yeah. And right now he's value-wise, he's not popping. He's kind of mixing into the background. So very shortly, I'm adding some atmosphere fog to push him into the foreground. I think you're about to see it right here pretty soon. Adding some pure white, so those blades really pop out because there's no white anywhere else on this canvas. The blade is the pure white here, so that way it helps it pop. And then I'm going to add some atmosphere in there very shortly right here, so you can see some atmosphere to pop them out in front of the camera. Yeah, and this stage, this painting is pretty much done. I think everything else left are just minor details, refinements kind of stuff. So my color palette there, you can see there, is all custom. It's just over the years of painting, I collected a lot of different colors. So they're kind of random, but I kind of know what each one does. Each segment, I guess, works well with one another. But as a whole, my color palette looks quite kind of random. But for example, last week's painting, you saw the color was actually sampled from those palettes. Okay, so continue to paint, add some details, and so yeah, this painting is coming to an end here. I'm probably going to zoom out so you can kind of see what everything looks like. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode, and please subscribe. And if you have questions, again, ask us. If you have a private question, go ahead and ask. But you guys ask a lot of good questions in private, so try to post them in public as well, because I think it helps everybody to see what these kind of general questions are. So as we zoom out, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later this week for a different video. Okay, so have a good week, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.